is you first of all being a dancer in a creative space. Furthermore, kuna Christian dancing.
As you are speaking, this is where I'm filtering what Sam wants and what I think will actually help other people.
For sure.
What keeps you going? Because the truth is, I'm so sure there are times when there's that voice that comes and tells you, is it really worth it? This is a podcast for all the dreamers who are becoming something special, with the hope that you will one day leave a legacy that will inspire. Welcome to Believe, Become, Inspire. Today I have an amazing dance visionary. Namuita dance visionary sababu, especially in this Christian context, hatuko wengi sana. This is someone who has done a number of projects. This is someone who has won an award. This is someone who has mentored and discipled countless people. But this is someone who also has a very interesting story. So without further ado, help me welcome on stage Shida ya kuwa MC. Help me welcome the one and only Seth Guya. Karibu sana Seth.
Asante.
What are the problems of being an MC?
Uko tu sawa. I mean, tungekuja tufanya tuweke hizo background. Maybe ungeweka hizo background. No, yes. Tusikie hizo on stage. At you on stage. Unaona sasa hata umeni-affect.
Sisi ni watu wa stage. Hii kamera hatujazoea sana.
Kabisa man.
Yeah. But just share a brief of probably your dance journey. Yes, so a bit of Seth and a bit of your dance journey.
Yeah, so first of all, asanti kwa kunikaribisha kwenye podcast, BBI.
Yes.
Yes.
The only BBI we know.
The only BBI we know. So, first of all, Seth Guya is my name, as you introduced. I've been dancing, or rather, it's important for me to say this, because, someone special is watching somewhere. Yeah, Seth Guya is my name. I married to one wife who is a woman by God's design. It's important to put it that
in today's day and age.
Because I'm acha tusiingie hapo. But married to one wife, amazing woman, nampenda tena sana. Apart from that, my dance journey, I'm a Christian dancer, as you said, professional. I do this. I've done it for over 12 years now. Yes, and at the moment now I'm doing it part-time, but for the most part of my career I've done it full-time. And yes, that's basically how my dance journey, rather summatively, profile yangu inakaa in terms of dance. Sijui kama nimejibu swali ama
no, I mean in introduction there's no right or wrong way of introducing yourself. True. 12 years Lupita would be proud anyway.
Kumbe ulikuwa utumie hiyo. Sawa.
Yeah, so probably one of the things that, just to start off lightly, what inspired you to dance? Because 12 years ago we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have Instagram.
Yeah, true man.
YouTube ilikuwa cyber.
Wow, umesema YouTube. Wow. Manze hiyo ni so real. Wow, so I started dancing like way back, like young. And I think I started dancing in church. I was given an opportunity to dance with, my brother. Pia brother yangu hii, acha tu msiniulize video, msiniulize anything, but my one and only brother who currently is playing drums pale Icons. Ni mtu hatari sana. Yeah, we did a dance. There was a dance concert, and then that was the first time I got to perform. And not only that, but I also got a chance to create my first choreography. Wow. So it was just one of those sessions, because there was singing, there was dancing, there was acting. And our dance teacher back then, alikama kaniambia, you look like there's something about you that just is different. So please, can you create a choreography? And I want to explain kidogo hii context tulikuwa ndani at the time, remember, hakuna TikTok, hakuna hata Spotify. Hakuna hata YouTube. Ilikuwa ma CD man.
Hata Flash bado ilikuwa imetokea.
Bado Flash hata ilikuwa popular. Flash ilikuwa ya watu wako na do. So what happened is, back home we had a vinyl. Unajua ile wanaitaga LP pia. Hiyo ndio radio tulikuwa nayo. Ile unachukua zile vitu kubwa hizo za black, unaweka needle, inacheza, inaanza alafu inacheza. So that's hiyo ndio ilikuwa radio system tulikuwa nayo home. So nilikuwa nimepanic. Nikasema sasa wewe ananipatia ngoma hapa ni dance na manze sina hata nini. Sina radio yenye inaweza support CD. So ndio katuambia ni aje haina shida. What we'll do, we'll just give you the radio. And so literally I had the privilege because I used to see movies then na watu venye wanatembeanga na tu radio hivi. So nilikuwa na hiyo pleasure ya kuwalk na radio hivi at least kwa esto. Alafu that's how I got that nili get an opportunity to choreograph because of CD hazikuwa popular then, hatukuwa na nini ilikuwa compatible yenye ilikuwa ni machine, yani ilikuwa tu a lot. And so that's the first time I created a choreography with my brother. We got a chance to perform it and yes, ilibamba. And I think from then on, as in sijai look back, nikasema dance is actually a thing. Honestly, when I was young, it used to get me a lot of attention. Because kulikuwa na kamove ka break dance nilikuwa napenda kufanya. Unajua kale ka wave unakaingiza hivi, unakuja alafu kana swing hapa. Unaigonga, ukigonga kichwa unaanguka chini. Watu walikuwa wana cheesy, like people were just like, "Let's do it again." Bila mziki, bila anything. So even though nilikuwa na do, I mean, that's how I started. But now from then on, nika continue now ku do it in church. Do it in church and in different capacities. High school, still the same thing. I got a chance to go for, like Funkies back then. Funkies like SCAD. It was ilikuwa slightly intimidating when you find other people who now can dance. Because I shared the stage with watu kaki na FBI wakiwa bado high school. Msiniulize miaka yangu. Nilikuwa form 1. Au maybe walikuwa namalizia but nilikuwa form 1. Nilikuwa form 1. So yeah, so it was just interesting. I was in a private school back then, but I got a chance to perform on a grand stage. I mean, it's different when it's high school. I just don't want to go into the details of it. But yeah, I did that, finished, went to two high schools, went to my second high school. I also danced there. I used to get opportunities, prize giving, dance, etc. And then in high school is when I first met, like that's where I met someone who had the same passion the way I had. And so, and I met you, meet like Muley. Shout out to Muley, man. So we were 3 of us back then. So tulikam, he came from Upper Hill, and then we met, and then we were just like, let's do this thing. So tulikuwa tuna dance. I mean, the ladies, I was in a mixed school, so the ladies, of course, it was a charm. And then we did that for quite a while. We did choreographies. Now then, I think I had an opportunity to create my own, not create my own, but be part of a crew that I would say I was part of the founding members. So to do that, tukaambia, this is beyond our high school. We'll meet up even after high school. And back then it was a serious thing, like people who are meeting as in beyond high school to come and dance. And by that time, bado nilikuwa tu na hiyo, I mean, I grew up in a Christian home. So pretty much most of my opportunities were Christian platforms. But I don't even, I kid you not when I say this, like my parents really put a hard foundation of like being a Christian. Mm-hmm. So I was already gravitating towards just doing Christian dance.
When the train a child the way you should grow.
Living and embodying that. So tukafanya hiyo, we finished, so I did high school. And then now we were meeting consequently, and then we used to partner now with churches. We used to approach churches and be like, sisi ni vijana, tunapenda kudance nini. And by that time, right now there's kidogo stigma about it, but that time like almost 90% of churches were against like dancing because it looked like it was, something that is
konambo wave ni nyoka. You're summoning snakes.
Oh my God, like hizi ni vitu gani? Wakristo wa moving hivyo, what are you summoning and stuff like that?
But that's not a joke. I actually had someone say that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Hiyo ni nyoka inapita kwa mwili yako.
I was like, what's your logic behind that?
I know, man. I know. Hiyo ni sad. Hiyo ni sad.
One of the things about having Christian backgrounds in Kenya, because again, you've been a dancer when dance was not as popular. What was the hardest thing for you about the life you chose as a believer and your gifting as a dancer?
Man. So first of all, umenikumbusha mimi nakuanga na stories. Mimi naweza sema stories.
Ndio sababu uko kwa podcast ni za stories.
So one of the hardest thing, even as I was coming up and telling you my story, was number one, yes, we didn't have the privilege of, TikTok, Instagram, like social media the way it is now. And I literally used to go to a cyber hapo home and you pay your due diligence, because I've forgotten the charges, but you used to pay, I think probably 60, ilikuwa 1 minute 1 bob.
Na minimum ni 10 bob ama 20 bob most of the times.
Yeah. So but guzuri, my cousin actually, who I call my brother, shout out to him, like alikuwa anawaka kwa cyber. So remember, internet, it's not a common thing, it's not in houses, it's only in cybers. You get mtu wa movies ndo akona internet peke yake juu anaweza ban CD na manini, CD juu ya torrent na hizo vitu zote. So what used to happen, I used to go to the cyber cafe, and as I'm in the cyber cafe, I used to now look for, because I had a gravitation towards dancehall music. I mean, grow up nilikuwa nasikiza kina Juliani, kina Lemba, I used to hear a bit of hip hop, but those are the guys who I think had more influence. Akina Danko, man, yani tu mawili bounce to everywhere, yani akina Dadioe na One Day, yani so that's no same.
Unanipeleka mbali like those are the people we grew up listening.
Yeah. So nikienda kwa cyber nilikuwa nimegravitate towards to dancehall. So nikiingia I used to look na hii kama yenyewe, unajua huyu msee wewe lazima ukuli dance before hii time. Kuna jamaa moja alikuwa anatoka France anaitwa Cameron One Shot, huyu msee alikuwa anafanya dancehall, alafu mzee ilikuwa tu noma, and I think because of the time he was the one who was doing like most of the dancehall videos. So I used to google this guy, naona video zake, naona venye ana create na nini, nasikia tu venye ana interpret muziki. Kwanza nilikuwa napenda venye ana interpret muziki, which is something that I actually do till date. There's another of course, sasa from there nika build, kuna kina Overload Skankers, kuna kina sijui Craig Black Eagle, all these people, I mean, well dance journey yangu si kama Mkristo,
usijali hata sisi tuko nao
tuko na wale watu. So but I gravitated towards those guys. So that's the first hardship I encountered, whereby number one, it was not a popular thing. I was growing up in a culture or society whereby dancing is like an abomination, like it can't be accepted in church. And I thank God for my parents. My parents were like, this is a gift, I think you can use it somewhere. And so they were in full support. Whenever I would say I'm going to dance in church, they were never like refuting. And so as I was now growing up, I mean, dance journey yangu, man, ni a long one, but just to summatively like kuyeka too long story short, is just to say, like, one of the challenges that I now got to experience as a dancer coming up back then was that like there aren't that many platforms and opportunities that people were just easily going to embrace. I am grateful for my church, because that's where I grew up from, which is ICC, and walinipatia opportunity from when I was 5 years old, man. Like, kuja tu we dance, like there's just opportunity, kuna speakers, kuna yani kila kitu wana facilitate that. But now I've gotten to realize outside of that, it was hard, like not many churches.
Sasa yenye pia unapata pesa na like beyond the one-off projects that churches would incorporate dancers.
Exactly. And I mean, as now back then, I mean, it was just ministry. And I think one of the challenges, which I'll flip the script kidogo in a sense, one of the challenges is now, like flipping the script to today, is right now I don't see dancers dancing because they just love dance. Like wako si ati wako, but people are now like any tuko motivated na do. And I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way. Na the hype. But you know, back then, I mean, tulikuwa tunawasema watu wanataka dance. Yani haijalishi huyu amekuja alienda research Craig Black Eagle wake huko, mwingine ametoka na Brian Puspos Ian Eastwood. Azina amekuja tumezieka pamoja, tuko hapo tuna choreo tu, tunabambika, tunatoka. It's a good time. And I mean, as I was growing up, Sparfest was also a big thing. I think that's where we, both of us, foundation yetu most imekuwa in Christian dance. But that's a challenge that I experienced then. Another challenge that I experienced then in dance, which shaped my leadership, especially as a creative, was manze tuna compete sana, especially as dancers. Ilikuwa, yes, kwa hype kulikuwa na party ilikuwa inaitwa Showtime. Na hapo watu walikuwa wanakuja wanachafua, watu wanakata height, wanalala kwa floor, yani vitu tu. But what I've gotten to realize, and I'm seeing that also permeate in both spectrums, because nime get the privilege of dancing before and even now, is that we are here to, as in tuko hapa kwa utrainiana. We are not here to collaborate. And na hiyo kitu, I think it's very detrimental, especially as a Christian dancer, because all this need for the kingdom of God. And I say that because from how I've observed it, ilikuwa inaanza, for example, Sam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but foundation yako most ilikuwa hip hop. You know, mimi foundation yangu maybe nilistart from dancehall, but hatuwezi sikizana juu sisi ni wakali, tumekuja kuwaosha. There was a healthy space for it. I mean, Sparfest created a healthy space because primarily like 90%, first of all, ni word. Alafu sasa mtakuja mshainiane. But I've just seen how we are not able to sit down and collaborate as Christian dancers because you feel like your skill ama your genre of dance is better than mine. And I feel like my genre of dance is better than yours. So when we're going to share a platform, it's not an opportunity for me to learn and be like, wow, manze dance in a grow. And I say that because even right now what I've gotten to experience, unfortunately, kuna expressive dance ina happen. Na sahi, I'm grateful that inaanza ku accepted. But before, man, unakuja hapo na expressive watu wako tu like unfortunately, even the audiences who come for the shows wako tu, hii set yao say inabo. Juu
tunangoja ile ya Watagwan.
Bas. And I mean, imagine that influenced how many of us, and I pia mi niko guilty, like nilianza ku create choreographies na dances based on what will be palatable, ama watu watafurahia kama audiences. But, you know, at the end of the day, ni kwa sababu nimesakam to the pressure of, unajua lazima tuko hapa ku compete. So that's what I would say primarily in terms of the challenges I faced back then. And now zenye nimeona bado zina permeate till now, in terms of just as a Christian dancer.
As you are speaking, this is where I'm filtering what Sam wants and what I think will actually help other people.
For sure. I'm
looking at it also from the perspective of a vision.
Yeah.
I have two questions. So the first one is, the way I know you do dance is you have a career. Let me put it in a way most people will understand.
Yeah.
You have a career that pays your bills and you're able to do dance.
Yes.
On the side.
Yeah.
So first of all, was it always like that, or did you want to do dance full time?
Honestly, I wanted to do dance full time. And hence that is why I had the passion the way I did. When like now growing up, I wanted to be, I actually took a course in journalism in campus. And so I just wanted to be generally a creative, and being a creative would have opened up an opportunity for me to have time for dance. So I never like sat down and was like an 8 to 5 would do so. And I mean, when I mean, truthfully, I was young, but there are opportunities that the job won't create that opportunity. They want to create that opportunity for yourself. And I mean, balance is now the gift that God has given us, whereby you now realize that, you know, this you do everything. Ecclesiastes, Solomon puts it, there's a time for everything. Mm-hmm. So what is it called? When it comes to, I've also like what I was saying is like I always wanted to do dance. But now as I was growing in dance, which is also something I would go back to the thing here, as dancers we tunajifungianga sana because you think that this is the only thing I can always do. But God is the author and finisher of our faith. Like he's the one who knows the end from the beginning. So akiangalia alikuwa na purpose for you. And so what that means ni you have to walk being open enough to know God anaweza open up which doors for you. Because to be honest, and many dancers probably, and many of them who are in their prime might not like it when I say probably dance is just a stepping stone for you, like at this very moment. And stepping stone does not necessarily mean that you will stop doing dance. It probably means that you're going to open up more doors for dancers. So meaning that we need people who will sit down with dancers and have conversations, podcasts, where dancers now get also to hear, behind the person who creates like this, behind the people who now, like we are married, like we have, we have...
statement tena.
Anataka kushine, man. But anyway, congratulations by the way. Congratulations.
Tuko na the same color.
Inabidi. We are flexing. But I mean, in your prime, sahi maybe unaweza feel hapana dance is the only thing. And I mean, nimesema hivyo nikaona tu a lot of conversations we can delve into, like context here, where we are at. And it's you we actually I was talking to. And the conversation was, there's you being a dancer. There's you first of all being a dancer in a creative space. Si kuna actors, kuna singers, alafu kuna dancer. Sawa? Yes. Furthermore, kuna Christian dancing. Okay? Furthermore, kuna Christian Kenyan dancer. Yani
alafu ongeze married hapo sasa.
Oh my god. Yani and I'm not saying that ati from a negative place. Sometimes maybe we get into this creative space na tuko like kuna kifua tunaingia nayo, but tunafaa ku realize lazima to understand context, because truthfully now we are growing into that direction whereby dance is actually paying people like huge amounts of money. When we were growing up in the dance space, we didn't have opportunities whereby all of us can have this cake.
Ilikuwa hobby ya ukiwa kampo alafu umalize ukue serious na maisha.
Kuwa serious na maisha. Actually, our parents were a bit more patient because they're like, there's something that he's doing in his campus life. But ukitoka campus na bado uko na dream ya dance, wanasema na wewe shida iko wapi?
And I think even one of the reasons why me and you are among the remnants is because we had supportive parents.
True,
where
man.
Even if they don't fully understand,
yes,
they are not outrightly calling you out and telling you to get a job bana.
I know, and I mean, when we say that, supportive does not necessarily mean that they were not having those questions. Sometimes they call us, they were like, but how come?
Utakula nini?
So when, hata train of thought yangu karibu ipote, but now dance has grown to a space whereby, I mean, there are many avenues and opportunities where people can earn an income from dance. Actually, hii inaweza kuwa tu your day job. So when we come back to how mine has been, I have done that for pretty much, let me say, I think I've done that for 10 years. And then in 10 years is when I got an opportunity now to be part of something else and work, just in church and just in the body of Christ. But I still get to do dance. And what that has looked like for me is that, yes, I have like a 9 to 4, 9 to 5, but I have very supportive supervisors, a very supportive, team, colleagues who understand that, this thing is actually a thing for this guy. And moreover, they understand that this is something that God put in Seth. And so, of course, lazima ujipange, si ati ni automatic. Kuna protocol ukiwa kazini, kuna utaitisha leave. You can work within the the leave schedule that you have and etc.
Lazima ulize permission, unaweza ambiwa hapana.
Unaweza ambiwa hapana. Even in that sense, I mean, we still do things till date, and you've also been a part of it. We still do musicals. Na I mean, fanya day job yako, alafu from 5 sasa you do. So it calls you out to be very diligent even in the things that you do. Na saa zingine ukweli nafikanga home nimechoka sana, but I appreciate the support that my workspace has given to me and also my wife, because ukweli hata yeye ana understand, anasemanga sawa, though hiyo in another conversation.
Shout out to Seth's wife hapo.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for
Miss
Wageshi, asante kwa kusimama na dugu Seth hapa, tuna appreciate. One of the things that you've said, this one I'll just highlight, but then we'll talk about something else, is the aspect of collaboration versus competition. And I'm in this fellowship. It's called CAFE, Christian Artists Fellowship. It's for Christians, and it happens once a month. And there's this lady, she'll also be part of the conversations in one of the podcasts. And she's been in Hollywood and all this. And the one thing she was saying is the difference between abroad na huku is actually that, like, abroad people are willing to collaborate, while here we are in competition. And it also got me thinking of one of them. I mean, if you think of the acting space right now in terms of especially film, and if I was to ask you, nani anachezanga theater space Kenya sahi? Don't think of a company. Think of an individual.
Wow, I'm allowed to mention names?
I
mean, I would say Julissa does.
Yes, Julissa.
I believe Julissa does.
And you see Julissa
collaborates. Someone else who I think I've gotten the privilege of working with, Chatterbox, kina JJ.
Collaboration.
Nani mwingine kwa theater space anajazanga?
Even for the people who, I mean, because here tunaonanga tu vitu za Kristo, even guys like kina Abel Mutua and Njugush.
Man!
And you see those guys like, because of those guys have taken this to a different level.
Awase wanasemanga kitu inaenda kuhappen, watu washaanza kuuliza link iko happy to buy tickets now.
But if you remember, even during COVID, how did they start? Just something as simple as Instagram. And one of the things, and it's something that I purposed to do, where, I don't have to work with Seth for me to come to your show and for me to make noise about your show.
True.
And I don't think in the creative space we have that, because if I'm not, for a lot of us, if I'm not in kasiko kwa show ya Seth, by then nitatokea lakini sitaongea.
True. Actually,
so that's something that
sijui unataka tuende huko juu. Okay, just one thing I think we mentioned, and I realize competition now also looks like has taken a different direction, especially in this day and age, whereby, and this is my personal opinion, but I think for the person who probably might come across this and hear this, we honestly na feel ni kama tumekuwa so obsessed with creating our own things.
True.
We are obsessed with inventing, or rather, we're inventing a new wheel instead of, there's already one that is turning. What can you do about it? And I've been personally, I have been one proponent not one proponent, but I've been one individual who has been literally fostering, can I collaborate with people? Because, I mean, as I say this, I don't have my own personal venture. Like, and when I say people have they're obsessed with starting their own things, is people are starting, dance movements, they're starting dance things, they're starting. Yani, kila mtu kona dance thing, unaget. But ukiangalia, yes, you're bringing people together, but you're not bringing the dancers together. You're bringing communities together, like other people together, which is totally fine. But at the same time, inafeel ni kama kila mtu anafungua biashara. Mbona hiki tu, I don't know if it's a Kenyan thing, but it's like a new space, someone opens a shop,
and then 5 shops down the line.
And then there's 5 shops down the line. So hiyo kitu saa zingine ni, as in nimeanza kuona the same thing in the dance space, and I'm like, as in, by the way, imagine some who do the same thing like wewe na Sam mnafanya the same thing, like simshikane mfanye to the same thing. And I mean there's a space, and I'm not negating the fact that God has probably given people vision, and people have been given vision. Like kuna hiyo scripture inakuanga nisahau the particular one, but old men will dream dreams and young men will see visions. Like hiyo kitu ni true, unaona. But my challenge now has become, competition has looked like Sam is starting his own thing, now I start my own thing.
And the worst part is you can't start your own thing.
Yeah.
But again, I'll use the Njugush, Mkuru Phil analogy.
Yeah.
Where when I think of a company, I think Feel It. I don't even know if Mkuru has his own organization or if Njugush has his own organization.
Exactly.
But I don't expect Phil to be the comedian.
Yeah.
And I don't see Njugush giving stories apart from TTNT.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
like, if you think storytelling, you think Mkuru.
Yeah.
If you think comedy, you think Njugush. Sain Mona pia nani feel like on a podcast. But again, I don't think it's a podcast ile because so ameanza, let me do it.
No, true.
And the thing is also they support each other.
Kabisa.
And for me, that's the thing. Like, one of the hardest lessons I had to learn last year was there's both extremes. So one extreme is because I've always been collaborating to a point of sometimes giving up my own vision. But one of the things I've also learned last year is I don't have to also be collaborating with someone doesn't mean that we have to be in each other's business 24/7.
True. But
so that's now the trick, because I think we don't know, we tend to, because kuna msata sikia Seth amesema let's collaborate, afikiria okay, now let me sacrifice my vision completely.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what you're saying. But now to the question I wanted to ask you. There's this obsession of people where we want to all have our own entity, and I think even what we've just spoken about ni kama imesegue vizuri into that. But one of the things I noticed about you is you actually have something on the side and you haven't let go of dance. But even how you're doing it is you're no longer the star. I mean, somehow you still shine, but you're not focused. You're focused because, and I can say this because I've been speaking to you, your focus is not you want to do this so that you be the star. You've actually focused on mentoring the next guys.
True.
Because hata nikiangalia Luanda. I mean, you are the choreographer. By the way, alishinda choreographer of the year, Kenya Theatre Awards for that one.
Thank you for people who voted. Thank you for kila mtu mwenye alini support. Nasikia kurudia the same speech, but asanteni sana. Anyway, yes.
Next show tutatafuta tissue just in case for moments like this. And that's now probably the question I have. For you to follow the thing that God has put in your heart, do you have to do it full time?
Honestly, no. You don't have to do it full time, and that is Seth's saying. But my pushback also to that question would be, what is God actually saying? Because the reason as to why I collaborate, as I reference the book of Ecclesiastes, ikisema, I think in Ecclesiastes, no, let me not butcher it, but inasema there's a time for everything. I mean, for the 12 years I've been dancing, like nilikuwa na seasons, kulikuwa na seasons, primarily nilikuwa hapa na dance. But sasa season imechange. Like I have grown. And not only me, but even my team has grown. And so what I realized ni God can actually use that as a stepping stone. And as a stepping stone for you, yes, to open other doors for other dancers, to create systems and structures for other dancers. And I say that because let me not go back to competition, but as dancers we are not, like, nime notice hata mimi sikuwa open, si ati nasema mimi na bash anyone, but nasema tu hata mimi at some point I was not as open because I was thinking I will just do the same thing the same way, but God, imagine God, Ephesians 3:20 nasema God can do immeasurably more than you can think or imagine. So if you thought that you would win an award, God would do immeasurably more than that, unaona. And so for a dancer out there ni kukuwa open, kujua hii dance itanifungulia milango wapi. Because for some of us your dance as in itakuja tu a hard stop, like utaacha kufanya completely, you get. But in the season that you're in, what doors did you open? Because you probably supported people, open entities that zimesaidia your children's children wakwe part of, unaget. And remember, because God can do immeasurably more, because God I think vile si tunathink. And that's why I'm a big proponent of collaboration, in the sense that wacha ni partner na Sam, sijui hii kitu inakaa sahi kama Christian thing, but I don't know if it will chart a path for just dance in Kenya, ama dance in this continent, ama dance even globally, because that's how we need to see things and stop limiting God, because hiyo sasa ndio unically nika tuna limit God, unaget. And I mean some people actually even know that hii kitu is just for a time. Like hii niko campus, niko na time, niko free, mimi nataka kuwa lawyer, fine, that's good, dance vizuri, umalize, tusonge mbele. And so for me, that's why yes, niko kwa like I work, but I also create a space for dance. So I usually love conversations like, hey, niaje tunaweza kaa chini tuongee about dance, fine, niaje tunaweza kaa chini tujaribu project. Na saa zingine nimetry kuambia people who have and this is to my fellow leaders and people who have been calling me for gigs. And sometimes nimeona kuna watu wamefeel some type of way nikiwaambia manze siwezi, watu wangu wanaweza. Wana feel abana but Seth unajua, and that
umekuwa jina kubwa umetusahau.
Ama unajua pia wasanii wako hivyo. Like nimenotice pia wasanii wako like, but I want you nini. Nikamwambia but unajua pia naangalia season imechange. Like I have a wife, niko na responsibility home, yani niko na vision, niko na work, niko na watu wengine pia na bring up. Alafu I don't want to be that person mwenye useta amekuwa tu akidance, hatuachiangi space, unajua. And so I have been trying my level best to create opportunities in my small way. It doesn't necessarily mean that I will be, and that's why I was telling you, like I tell my fellow leaders, niaje unataka mtu unaweza bounce off idea ya creative voice, I don't have to necessarily dance, niite tukae chini uniambie hii ndio kitu nimefikiria, sawa, that's also collaboration. Niite uniambie manze hii gig nataka udance, kwambie mimi siwezi dance but naweza try kukua handler wa dancers wako, ama naweza try ku lead prayers for, yani inaweza kuwa anything. So tukue open that collaboration can be anything. And do you know what that does now? Ina create a space whereby unajua you'd rather have actually, hata wewe tuseme unafungua maybe let's say for example unapatiwa, God amekupatia blank check na amekupatia blank check ya kufungua, ya kudo anything, na maybe let's say ni kufungua kitu ya dance, si ndio? Na blank check ni kumaanisha ukitaka studio, yani cream de la cream unaweza fanya. Utataka kukuwa na watu wenye si madansa peke yake, wanataka wanaweza focus on specific things that do not entail particularly dancing. Na so mu feel nika dancer sujifungia, uko na gift ya ku video kama uchali yako hapa, anaitwa ngoja hiyo jina inakaa sijui msaniitwaje Rankid, unaget,
umeshika hiyo jina. Nilikuwa nakuangalia niko like wacha niko nakumbuka.
Okay but like for example, like anaweza kuwa dancer na bado akwe videographer, anaweza kuwa dancer na akwe photographer. Na I mean it doesn't necessarily mean that ati dance itakuwa imetoka, it mean tu unaweza taka maybe as you advance hata podcast yako unataka watu kama hawa, because wana understand vision ya dancing itself. So uko na watu hauta have ku explain sana ati this dance is about una get huyu ni dancer ana understand, nikimwambia come huyu manze anani support fully. And so that's why I'm like, first of all, God lazima akudirect, si choice yako. Akudirect into that particular space as you go. But at the same time, you can still do both. I managed to do both because I have a supporting community. I have a supporting wife. I mean, story yake isema mtajua yenyewe ilikuwa serious. But to some degree nimemwalau pia anakuja na mdansi ananiambia hiyo choreo haiwezi bro. I mean hiyo ndio collaboration tunadu, unaona. I talk to you nakwambia bro manze unakuja unaniambia you have been one of the people who has been very understanding in the sense of bro, yani hii time unajua tu unaweza kama hata kama ni kushow up for your gig. Like lazima pia sisi as creatives tujue hiyo ni support, unaget. It's beyond just coming and dancing, because tukikame and dance ni jina yangu nataka kutumia ndio ukaeni kama we ni big league ama ni support.
Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to follow part 2 of this video. And we'd like to hear which part of this video you like the most. So don't forget to leave a comment down below. See you in the next one.